So this is the first video I'm posting on this channel, and I just want to talk about things that are on my mind. And one such of these things is the fact that you deserve nothing. You deserve absolutely nothing. And I know that's really pessimistic, and I'm the least pessimistic person you'd ever know, but yeah, I don't think anyone deserves anything. And you might be asking, well, where's this coming from? And I think that nowadays we sort of just associate life with I am gonna get this, or this is coming to me, I'm gonna fall in love, I'm gonna get this job, I'm gonna land this interview. And I think that sort of mindset is great, but only to a certain extent. I don't think that, believing you deserve everything is gonna get you anything you want. And of course, there's like ideas of manifestation and self talk, and I don't disagree with that at all. But I think the main idea is that anything you want from anywhere, you have to go and take it. You can't wait for it to come to you. You can't wait for, a situation to arise where you get this. You actually have to make your own opportunities. And you only get so many ones that come, by luck. And you might fall into the fallacy where you're like, yeah, this came, something else is gonna come. You have to start working towards it. And that's like, it's like you get put into these really weird and uncomfortable situations a lot of the time, and you expect to just, come out of that. Maybe a bit scathed, maybe, a bit worn, a bit traumatized, but you expect to, find an end. And a lot of times there really isn't one. A lot of times you're in that little zone of pain for quite a long time. And I think that, blind optimism just leads you straight to pessimism. I was having this conversation with a friend, right? We were talking about women, but essentially it boiled down to having a pessimistic or optimistic view on what's given to you. And I gave this analogy, the one that everyone knows about the glass being half empty or the glass being half full. And what I like to look at that situation as is the glass has water, you know, but regardless of it being half empty or half full, it still has water, and you can still use that water for something good. You could use it for something evil, but either way, the bottom line is you've got glass, and the glass has water. And I love that realistic view on life, because when you try and fit, your situation to a model, it never really gives you what's actually there. I know that sounds silly, but you know, we might say, I don't know, not land an interview and assume that we're worthless or we don't have the skills. And that might not be the case. It's very possible that's not the case. But us trying to, mold that situation into our own limiting self beliefs ends up with us getting nowhere, you know. And then say on the other hand, you have this optimistic belief saying, yeah, I landed that interview, it was amazing, it went perfect, and you end up not getting into the interview. You assume that you're still perfect, you assume that you still have all these great attributes when you really don't, and now you're still stuck. So in both scenarios, you're either stuck down in the dumps, or you're stuck up in the clouds, but really and truly down in the dumps. And the way I like to look at things now is, like I said, the glass has water in it, right? I like to look at the facts and what's been given to me. And I think I didn't really do that for a lot of my life. I always tried to be as optimistic as possible. There were times where I was pessimistic, but I never really tried to look at things as they were. Looking at things as they were is probably the best way you can make any progress, because then you realize that you actually don't deserve anything. But if you want something, you've got to take it. You've got to make from what you're given. And a lot of times you aren't given a lot, and a lot of times that sucks because it means that you can't do a lot. But you build, because yeah, that water. Yeah, you might have that cup full of water, but maybe if you give that water to someone else, they might give you something else, and all of a sudden your reality changes, and now you've traded that water for something a bit better, and you can keep climbing up and eventually get a Lamborghini. So I don't know. I do think that it's important to look at what's in front of you. I also think it's really important to look at what's ahead. Don't get stuck where you are. Realize you have these tools and figure out what those tools can be used for. Because when they say that success is never finished, I think that's what they mean. I think they mean that you always have these new tools. It's like Minecraft, you know. You always have your fists, then you've got your wood, and eventually you get your cobblestone, and you never really look. You never really assume that cobblestone is bad or that a pickaxe is bad. You just know that a pickaxe can break something else to get me something more. And then that something more could be diamonds, and those diamonds could get you into the nether and help you kill the ender dragon. If you've played the game, you know what I mean. And yeah, I think that's probably the best way to live life. I'll continue posting on this channel with, you know, any ideas and thoughts I get, but that's what I have to say. Thank you.